Bonjour, comment allez-vous? This is the Crypto Kid podcast, and I am the Crypto Kid Daniel Plummer. Today we discuss Bitcoin sprints past 68,000 US dollars. Happy Friday, everybody. It is October 25th, 2024. It's a very sunny day here in Tucson, Arizona. We are looking at the markets. The markets are very positive. Earlier this morning, Bitcoin surpassed the price of 68,388 US dollars. And then now it's going into a sell-off frenzy as investors take their profits. This is something that I've told you guys to watch out for repeatedly, is that the market makers, which are mainly investment bankers and hedge fund investors, they are going to churn the price of Bitcoin. Bitcoin should be trading beyond the price of 70,000 US dollars. But until the November 5th, 2024 election outcome is announced and Donald Trump is the presumptive winner, until they officially announce it, the market makers are going to keep the price of Bitcoin between 65,000 and 68,000 US dollars. I would encourage everyone to take a long-term approach. You might want to be in Bitcoin ETFs as well as meme coins. I would probably switch out of Bitcoin right now because it's very contentious, because the Biden-Harris administration have been, for the 4 years, they've been anti-Bitcoin and anti-cryptocurrency. Whereas on the flip side, we have Donald Trump being the proponent of Bitcoin, having Bitcoin ETFs, having Bitcoin meme coins, and then Vice Presidential J.D. Vance actually holds Bitcoin and is a decentralist, as well as RFK Jr. speaking at the Bitcoin National Conference in Nashville, Tennessee. So right now, Polymarket polls has Donald Trump receiving 66% of the popular vote. Roger Stone was quoted as stating that Donald Trump has 312 electoral college votes and Kamala Harris has 225. Prior to that, we had Carrie Sheffield the day after the J.D. Vance, Tim Walz vice presidential debate. She announced that Donald Trump had 287 electoral college votes and Kamala Harris had 230 or 235, and that those numbers weren't going to change. Well, lo and behold, those numbers have changed. Donald Trump has, in fact, gained 50 electoral college votes, and Kamala Harris has lost 15. No one expected that. Everyone expected it to stay where it was at Donald Trump, 287 electoral college votes, and Kamala Harris, 230 to be to 235. No one expected her to lose votes, but I believe everyone is watching the interviews she's giving, and the Electoral College is already letting their sentiment be known. How that's contributing to the price of Bitcoin is that the Biden-Harris administration has been anti-Bitcoin, anti-cryptocurrency, and Donald Trump has reportedly made over $30 million in Bitcoin meme coins. And now he and his sons have gone into a joint venture with World Liberty Financial, and their Bitcoin ETF has already been approved. It's already being sold. Despite the headlines, I've gone onto the website of World Liberty Financial. I've seen real-time data of actual purchases on the Bitcoin blockchain. So those myths have been debunked that the World Liberty Financial Bitcoin ETFs are having problems, because they're actually being purchased right now. Moving on, when we look at Polymarket data has Donald Trump receiving 66% of the popular vote. So this is going to be a landslide victory for Donald Trump. It's also going to make fake mainstream news media outlets like MSNBC and CNN continue to look non-credible and incredulous sources of information. In addition to that, the New York Times keeps pumping out these headlines. It's a dead heat to the end. It's not a dead heat to the end. If you look at the polls that CNN and MSNBC and the New York Times are trying to quote. These are unknown sources. These are unknown pollsters. These are unknown universities that probably do not even exist. And no one is fact checking them, so they have free reign to say whatever they want. But as they do that, they continue to lose their credibility. If we look here in Tucson, Arizona, President Barack Obama was here, and Eminem came out and announced him, and Barack Obama made himself look stupid by trying to rap. This is ridiculous. Then he insults African American men and says, "Hey, brothers, you need to vote for Kamala Harris." Nobody gives a crap about what Barack Obama says or feels, because African American men do not feel that Barack Obama did anything for them. The whole 2 months of the Kamala Harris campaign, she's ignored African American men and men in general. Her polls are terrible with men, and especially African American men. And that is why 80% of African American men are going to vote for Donald Trump. And we're not going to address the percentage of white men that are going to vote for Kamala Harris. But whether they're Democrats, registered Democrats, or Republicans, it's not going to be more than 20%. Because she's ignored them. So if you watch the Democratic National Convention and you looked into the crowd, you would be led to believe that African American women are 80% of the U.S. population, and they're only like 7% of the U.S. population. But the audience of the Democratic National Convention was 80% African American women, and many of those women were what would be categorized as overweight. And that is the audience that she's catering to. So she cannot be surprised when they do a poll and she finds out she's doing poorly with men, and African American men are not voting for her, in particular the young 18 to 32 crowd. They don't, like, in no way has Kamala Harris courted them, addressed them in any way. What she keeps talking about in her campaign, which is her right, because she's letting you know which issues she's voted on.